Hello and welcome back to day 3 of the Thunder Cup. This, of course, being the Group B preliminary round. My name is DK, and here with me is the ever-lovely Highland Wolf. And, of course, well, Wolf, we've been seeing quite a few upsets, quite a bit of movement coming in on that overall leaderboard. I mean, today is going to be absolutely insane, as only 7 teams get to move through on into that grand final.
That's right, it's a do or die time here, DK, for these teams inside Group B. Only, as you say, 7 can make it through into the grand final next week. And joining those rest of the teams in Group A, those 2 invited teams, definitely high expectations for whoever does get through there at the end of today's 4 matches. But more specifically here, not only just the group stage going into the finals that these teams are playing for, a reminder here also that we are, of course, playing for $1,000 going through whoever can reach that top spot in Group B, heading into their grand finals to earn even more cash, $1,500 there.
Oh, I mean, that is quite a lovely, lovely number to see. But now, you know, it is going to be a pretty tough day. As I've mentioned, we've already seen those changes up. And as we were looking over towards that leaderboard, things are looking pretty close, especially if we're looking onto the side of the players from Illuminate. We've got the players from Team TAMILAS, DRS, Seal 9, A1, as well as, of course, the players from Join Me Black, Nova, and ZEUS. Those teams are all so close together.
Nova in particular, we said potential dark horse here, but alongside when it comes to dark horses, I think BANGKRIRK definitely one of those teams to look out for. Yesterday they had a big set of points coming out from those 4 games, of course making their way up to that 3rd spot overall, 98 points in total. But when we also think towards the biggest teams here is, of course, you can see that playing path going down from the south to the north of Erangel is DK, the side of Infinity. They picked up an 85-point game yesterday, and more specifically 80 points in just 3 games, 40 placement points, 40 kill points in the first 3 TPP matches yesterday.
Well, that is absolutely amazing to see. So Infinity are really shining through in the performance yesterday. But of course, now, today we're going to look to see whether or not they'll be able to continue with that momentum, continue to push on through and secure that slot. Of course, holding on to pole position. But for today, my attention is definitely going to be on the side there of, as I mentioned, Illuminate, TAMILAS, DRS Gaming, Seal 9, A1. Those teams are so close to the top 7 and into the top 7 that anything can change at any point throughout the games here today.
Right, indeed, there's only about a 10-point gap between those down in 6th position of Illuminate and all the way down towards 9th position of Seal 9. Even I would dare to say definitely A1 Esports, the likes of Join Me Black, definitely heading up there towards potential of that top 7, but they'll also need a good series of games today. And I think Join Me Black, a team who, of course, starting yesterday, they only had 12 points. And now, of course, they've been able to grab another around 34 points in yesterday's 4 games, taking up to 46. They've also got a chicken dinner to their name as well. Definitely a much better result from them, and definitely if Join Me Black can keep this up and they can increase their points even further in today's series of games, definitely potential there to grab themselves inside the top 7. But as we say, it is going to be quite a feat to be able to do so in that zone, already making it challenging for not just them but all of these teams going far towards the southwestern side here, DK. And when you do look to where these teams do initially start to drop in the map, it's more towards those eastern compounds of the South Island, of Yasnaya Poliana, of around Rotok. So it is going to be a little bit of a walk, a little bit of fighting that has to be done to be able to enter in.
Oh, I mean, speaking about fighting, Galaxy Racer, and of course the side here of DRS Gaming already getting stuck into the fight right here in the early game. Of course, the 2 teams dropping right on top of each other, and this is where things get interesting. Once the teams start moving up, looking to challenge their opponents, trying to just mix things up. But of course, as we can see now for the side here, oh, sorry, this is Nova. Wow, all right, never mind, excuse you, me, Nova, already just taking such a beating coming in, and of course, well, now being reduced down to Syphon, so a really strong, aggressive defensive play coming in there from the side of Galaxy Race, and of course, Well, we're going to be looking to see how far Nova will be able to make it through this round, through this phase, as they've been having a tough few days. I mean, they are currently sitting up in 12th place, so they are still in the running to get on up into the top 7, but it is going to be quite the fight.
Yeah, we're giving them obviously the benefit of the doubt here, DK. We said maybe it's a bit of latency coming around with all these Asian teams inside the lobby. They are, of course, the only American representative in the group, being the only American representative in the entire tournament at that there as well. So a lot of pressure on them. And I think also pressure, of course, nevertheless, as the organization as a whole. Keep in mind, it was Nova XQF here who did win the World Championship just earlier this year. And Nova, they do have a big burden on their shoulders to have to carry. But also does come to their players. I think definitely they do have the potential to do so. We've seen them in team fights around, particularly in the Miramar maps, and that's what excites me later on today, that Nova do have a tendency to have a better result there than in Erangel. And definitely I think there is potential to pick up plenty of points there, enough to grab themselves in the top 7. But as we say, also not just Miramar, it is also Erangel that we definitely have to step up on, something that they've not quite been able to muster quite yet.
Well, it is definitely going to be quite an interesting round to see just what the teams will muster in today's 4 games. But of course, it is going to be pretty exciting as we now are sitting on 17 teams. We're about to come to the end of the first phase and of course start making our way on through as that blue zone will start closing up. A lot of teams now very spread out, and what's a little bit different to what we saw in yesterday's matches is the teams are just holding it back a little bit on the space, on the rotations. We're not seeing that aggressive send like we had yesterday. The teams are going through their looting phase, getting ready to move up in towards this next phase, but they're also respecting their positions at the current time.
Definitely looking towards the positions here of Galaxy Racer as well, DK. Galaxy Racer, we know them from PMPL Arabia, and we know exactly what they're capable of. Definitely the more fraggers here of Max Cash, Ultron, the ones to be able to look forward to. Even MJ on those long-range snipes, who is able to find those crucial angles for them, and we can see that already when we look back through those 8 matches previously. But more in particular here, I think the Galaxy Racer, definitely a lot of pressure on them as well. When it comes to, of course, not quite making it into the EMEA League, they were very close to doing so, but now their chance to step up as the same team and also now grab themselves even more potential and even more respect when it comes to beating in not just those in their own region, but as we say, also those outside their region as well. Keep in mind, this isn't just one region that we're playing here inside the Thunder Cup. It is multiple of them, and you can see already these clash of styles coming in between A1 and, of course, the side of Raptors. Raptors as well, much needing those points. Only 14 points so far in between these 8 games.
Yeah, and really going to be looking to see what Raptors will be bringing to the table here today, as all they stand to benefit from any and all points they can, of course, acquire throughout the span of the day here. But now, as we move through this fight here with the players of Raptors and A1, we're just seeing an absolute obliteration coming in on the side here of the Raptors. As A1 now facing a slight bit of a challenge. They, of course, now being reduced down to 2, but of course now, ooh, 9boy sending out those heads. 6 9boy just bringing in the aggression with the utilities, but of course now Sinister right there to support him, but no. Nah, 6 9boy doesn't need a thing. He'll just step on out the window, slay the Slayer, and of course look to pick up several more points as the Raptors now come on in to try and avenge their fallen teammate. Oh, what a play that was now. Sinister here from A1 looking to hold on, but of course gets knocked right back on down. And now it is up to, well, 6 9boy to make that final stand and get the shots into the side there of Frankie.
Frankie definitely needs to heal, though. You can see the health bar so low. Definitely in a 1v1 situation. He loses it. Frankie, now with the smokes disappearing, here comes the rest of A1.
Oh, come on, 6 9boy, you can get it. It is so close. Will this be a clutch coming in for A1, or will it be a clutch on the side there of the Raptors, of course? Both 6ix9ine boy as well as Frankie, they're gonna give it their all. Jump shots galore, trying to get the shots in through the windows. Of course, now looking to pick up the points, but a quick exchange back and forth in and out of the building. But of course, now these fights are drawing in the attention of teams in the vicinity. You can already see a team starting to move on in from that eastern side. But now 6ix9ine boy looking to close up this fight. The longer this lingers on, the more potential there is for teams to move on up, and that is exactly what we see happening in the background. Things are going to be so tough, and of course, it seems like that could be Infinity, who's looking to move in.
Infinity. Oh man, they're coming in hot and spicy here already. The Sun of Raptors are getting close. They know they had to finish up this fight here. There was a nice exchange there initially from Raptors to back up, but here come Infinity, as we say.
Oh, come on, Frankie now caught in quite a bit of a predicament as Infinity look to pick up the steal, pick up the points, and of course they blow up the vehicle. What a crazy play that was, but now of course the tables have turned onto the side there of A1 as we see the nades come on through, and of course Infinity just cleaning up the house. But here comes the Galaxy Racer in for a third party of their very own.
But when we look at Infinity here, though, DK, the fact that also who said not allowing Galaxy Racer to be that fourth party team inside of the fight, making sure that Infinity don't suffer the same fight that just happened to A1. It just happened to Raptors. Unfortunately, their Raptors, as we say, also a bad showing for them as well. A1 currently sat in 10th position, will still need to grab in more points, but those points being wrapped up now when it comes over to the Pink Chinky side.
Pink Chinky, you say? Yes, that is a new position on the map. But of course, we're going to be looking to see what the teams up in Pachinki, as it's also known, are doing. Here we go, of course, the side here of Beta. Now looking to pick up a few points as we've got the side of ZEUS up ahead of them. The shots finding their way on through. And this, again, looking to be quite a difficult engagement. But so many teams so close together, not expecting anything else.
Beta, they do have the off angle here, DK, and when it looks towards Pink Chinky, as we're starting to call it here, seemingly ZEUS as well, they're the one's going to fall. No orange allowed here. It's only going to be grey monochrome colors of Beta, sucking out the life of the rest of these teams around the compound. Is round of school coming out for Beta. They do have to be careful, because keep in mind, Beta, they're going to be the first ones hit by this blue zone when it does ultimately come in. Phase 2 did shift far towards that coastline of the southwest, and that does mean that without also an option to rotate down wide past Watertown, past Ruins, because even there, the likes of MAYHEM, they're also looking over.
I mean, this is looking so brutal. Move too far, and you are right in the line of sight of any of these opposing teams. But of course, now we see the shots finding their way on through as the players here now are picking up the aggression. ZEUS finding a little bit of damage in through the way here, but of course now they're being put on slight bit of a back foot, being reduced down to 3 players. This is where we could potentially see Beta move on in, but the accuracy of those shots on towards MYM is just on point.
ZEUS, I don't think we expected them to be quite down far as they are in the leaderboard here. Currently sat in 13th position, equal 21 points each way, 42 points in total after 8 games. And DK ZEUS, a world-class team who seem to be struggling when it comes to the rest of its lobby, and maybe it might just be not used to the playstyles of these teams. Is often we get the excuse, right, of teams going in who are potentially world-class A1, A2 tier teams, and when they say, well, we're up against tier 2, tier 3 teams, we're not quite sure how they play. We got a little bit caught out, but by this point, we've had 8 matches to adapt to how these teams play, and definitely ZEUS, especially yesterday, not quite having a good result, did get caught out early a lot of the times, and today, very much more important for them to be able to pick up these points. I like what they are doing here to be able to secure those placement points, not risking the fight. They will go for the entrance into zone, instead now secure over around GXR, looking over as well the chopsticks. Another smart decision here to make sure that teams coming in potentially, of course, down from that northeastern side will get caught on that open field by them.
Well, there's a lot of potential mayhem still to erupt on the map, as we can see, of course. Now the teams all looking to set themselves up in this coming phase that has swifted all the way over on towards that far western side. But of course, now looking onto the side here of the players from Revenant, right? They've already lost 2 of their players. Now it is going to be quite a bit of a challenge for them to make a good stand, a good comeback, having those reduced numbers. But of course, now the players here from Team TAMILAS coming in just over towards the north of them. They are moving about, not engaging just yet. But of course, now this is where Revenant are just trying to stay hidden for as long as they possibly can, just to try and recover those numbers.
And what surprises me most, by not just Revenant staying down, of course, in very peer for the entirety of this game so far, but also the fact when you look to the west, or the eastern side, should I say, of the quarry compound, hills overlooking Gatka Fields, not used at all. No one is using a high ground, which is definitely one of the stronger points in this map. Still remains to be such a strong position, and especially when you have a zone shift like this, teams who would have sat themselves in that position of the map, you definitely start to rotate in towards the edge of the zone at this initial point in the shift. You start to look for those teams like AKUMA, like also the side of MAYHEM, moving in around the side of the zone, pick a couple of those players off. And for AKUMA, actually gifted what is one of the stronger positions in, going to allow them to slowly and gently rotate themselves down into quarry. I don't want AKUMA to go too far. They definitely have a good position, can stay on the edge of the zone, can allow the rest of these teams around quarry side to be able to pick each other off.
Yeah, and of course, speaking about picking off the side here, of course, of Join Me Black now looking to pick off the players from BANGKRIRK Esports as they look to push up in towards that quarry region, of course. Now, already finding the first confirmed straight on through, reducing BANGKRIRK down to only 3 remaining players. So it is going to be a slight bit of a challenge, but it seems like BANGKRIRK is definitely focusing on that position, looking to push themselves further and further into a strong position up in the zone. And of course, now you can see the hits coming through on the kill feed as the teams are just starting to go at it. But I mean, BANGKRIRK now just positioned up on it towards that eastern side of quarry. They could potentially be looking to be pushing even further in now.
But when you look at BANGKRIRK, they don't have a good position in the zone. They're in the low ground of quarry, so as a result, they don't really have the vision. They're surrounded there by Team TAMILAS. They're also surrounded by, as you said already, Join Me Black, who do have that high ground position. Yes, you do have Narv on the offside, but it is very, very risky for Narv still to rotate round outside of quarry. The moment they do, Join Me Black should pick them off. If not, Team TAMILAS do so as well. So in the end, they do find themselves stuck relying on the zone. And we also look to teams trying to avoid that situation. I like the rotation coming through from DRS actually in this first game, going all the way over towards the western side. Yes, they play on the edge of zone, but in this situation, that northeastern side can be very clustered, and anticipating that zone to potentially go away towards the coastline, as it has already been doing, as well as the potential to rotate along the beach, even towards Primorsk if need be. And you can already see in Primorsk Nova, they're trying to secure that location.
Yeah, of course, the players here from MAYHEM facing quite a bit of a challenge as the shots find their way on through, and Pugar now left to try and rotate back on in towards Primorsk to find a good spot to hold for the coming phases. But now, looking back up in towards the zone, we can see a lot of teams looking to find that entry point, looking to secure a position for the coming phase, because even the side of Beta here, they've just been feeling the pressure coming in from the side of Fate there. Hit after hit, just following its way on through. And I mean, things are looking pretty grim for Beta.
Beta, unfortunately for them, you can see this phase going to wipe out a final member there. There goes Pick On, and there goes chances of Beta. They got caught out for way too long. They stood too long on the edge of zone, get punished for it. FaZe will clean them up. FaZe entering in as well from that eastern side. And for when you look at FaZe here, DK, in particular, one of these teams who actually have the better entrance inside to the zone. We've already talked about how DRS on this western side have potential to sneak into that zone from the south now, as you can see them currently doing on the map. But FaZe as well can rotate using the ridge lines of those hills, can actually now backstab Seal if they're not looking. In a way that Seal are positioned, they've only of course got 2 members, so they don't have the numbers actually at this point in the game to be able to stop a full-on push through from FaZe if they do instead go for a rush in. You can see they have spotted out Kopex, so this initial look and this initial awareness coming through from Seal is very important to stop this coming in. However, I do fear, especially with that one knock, that can side of Amara really hold off against 4 players. You can already see them diving away.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough here for Amara to make the stand against the side of FaZe, because I mean they just come swooping in looking to clean it up, and they do so in fashion, finding their hits, and of course sending the players of CL9 there to a very abrupt end of their first round here. But now we're looking to see what the players here from DRS Gaming will be doing. They are holding down in towards the south, and of course we see the engagements come through from AKUMA onto the side there of Infinity. So quite a bit of potential still lying in and around the zone here. But now, there we go. Pukar looking to make that stand, literally standing up, sending the shots over towards DRS. But it is a very tricky position for Pukar to be in. But now, of course, we see the shots coming up through the north there as Galaxy Racer are looking to push in towards that zone. But FaZe now just once again rolling on through, now turning their attention onto the side of the players from Join Me Black.
As well, then, unfortunately, Revenant, they will too fall to BANGKRIRK. So there they go down. BANGKRIRK, they did play patiently enough, allowed TAMILAS and also Join Me Black to move away from the quarry section. So actually, with this zone shift, does work out a lot for BANGKRIRK. They've been patient enough. They've waited. They've not made sounds to alert those around them in the vicinity. However, with this zone shift all the way towards the western side, definitely FaZe looking like they can easily snatch this chicken dinner, but they do have to keep these players off the hillside. They have to also be aware that MAYHEM, DRS, whoever wins this fight off the bottom side can definitely come up behind.
Oh, and of course now Infinity looking to pick up a few more. Pukar finding the shots up in towards DRS though in the kill feed. But here we go, Infinity now rushing onto the side here of AKUMA, trying to wrap it up and of course acquire those points. A pretty aggressive Sen coming in as they move in, getting the squad wipe. But now they've got another minute on the clock before they need to get back up in towards the zone. But things are looking pretty tough all across the map here. Of course, the players now from BANGKRIRK looking to make a stand, looking to make a play, and of course push in up from the northern reaches of that zone.
DRS, they seem to be caught now. FaZe to turn their attention towards them. Unfortunately for them, no way out. Infinity as well. They need to dive on in, far away from this blue. Of course, we are in phase 5 DK. This means that it is going to hurt if these teams get caught in it. There's not going to be anything that can be done if you get caught by the Blues. And at this point, you do have to go for a healing strategy if you fall behind. Galaxy Racer match cashed. 6 kills already on them. They are still alive, but 8 teams as well still alive. And they are in the worst position of all of these teams. Revives still need to come through. Vehicles smoking. Only buggies that are healthy. And ZEUS, they're already on top of them.
Oh, I mean, it is going to be a pretty one to get the play on into, but Galaxy Racer have the number advantage over ZEUS. But of course, now ZEUS does have that terrain advantage, so it's going to be a very interesting exchange coming in between the teams, especially up in this northern section. But here we go now. ZEUS getting ready to push on in as that blue zone starts closing in. Team TAMILAS now also looking to pick up a few shots. Here we go now. Oh, ZEUS comes rolling on in. The shots find their way on through. Now Wally left to make that final dash, that final run to secure a position in the zone. But now, of course, Galaxy Racer meeting a very swift end as the heads come flying through. And of course, the players here from Team TAMILAS positioned up atop the hill here, just wreaking absolute chaos, havoc all over the zone. I mean, so far being able to secure 3 kills, and they're going to be looking to pick up even more as they now descend into the zone coming in from the north.
But it's still, nevertheless, FaZe already on 11 kills here, and they're only going to pick up even more. They wiped out DRS, they wiped out ZEUS. That guy, Tony Caver, looking now over the 2 members of Infinity coming off the top of the south side of this hill. And MR5 even joining up as a 3-man. That might allow Team TAMILAS to enter in, but you can already see they're being picked off by the solo of KITSUNE.
Oh, man, this is going to be absolutely insane. Now, BANGKRIRK looking to make that little bit of a play on the edge there. But as you've mentioned, the players here from TAMILAS now looking also to pick up a few more. Now, on a 3-man team, it is going to be pretty tough as we already see Evil being sent on over towards that lobby. But now, this is where we look to see exactly what Esports will be doing in this position. It is a pretty difficult angle to take. Of course, now they're going to be looking to potentially improve that as well as the players here from BANGKRIRK now up in towards the northern section of the zone, but they are on the low ground. Right up above them, there is, of course, the side of Infinity and Fate, FaZe rather, and they are now looking to send the hurt, send the pain on through, as now teams are forced to move up once again with that blue zone starting to close on up.
Still, though, TT Esports, the solo player there for BANGKRIRK, or so should I say here, Team TAMILAS. There will be the solo player left at BANGKRIRK. They still come in over the smokes, but they have to move a little bit closer in. The zone has been given to them. FaZe, they need to move down, and this is where FaZe, they might actually fall. The zone going away from them. They've not been able to take control of this hillside, and these off-angle players, they're the ones that are going to provide this upset as FaZe go into the clearing.
Oh, FaZe, as you mentioned, you know, just trying to rotate on in. You see a slight split coming in over on that western side. But, of course, now that guy trying to hold on in from the south alongside MR5. Of course, now finding a few hits over across in towards the side there of BANGKRIRK. As you can see, one of the players from BANGKRIRK already getting knocked on down. That, of course, is Henny. So things is going to be pretty tough as the players now look to move in towards the zone. The 4 final teams now literally going tooth and nail into these last few rounds.
FaZe has still got all 4 players alive, and this is the important part of it. And BANGKRIRK, they cannot hold on. The smokes are there, but the smokes will dissipate with time. FaZe definitely looking like they can still win this one, but here come Infinity driving on in.
Oh, who said now taking that position right up ahead, right in front on the doorstep there of the side from FaZe. But of course, now the shots are still finding their way on through as we see the players there from Team TAMILAS getting eliminated. BANGKRIRK now feeling the pressure as well as Infinity is now just trying to secure the position within the zone. But FaZe now looking to clean it up as we see MR5 sending that final hit on through. And of course, with that, claiming the chicken dinner for the side there of FaZe. Absolutely insane brutality as they end off on 16 kills alongside that chicken dinner.
Oh man, FaZe are back in it again. The dangerous team always. You give them an inch, they'll take a mile. In 16 kills, once again, another chicken dinner for them to add to their plethora of a collection of chicken dinners overall in this Group B stage. And when it comes to also the side there of Infinity, we talked about them alongside BANGKRIRK. These Dark Horses who are now coming back into the fray as well. Also good showings from them. Team TAMILAS also stepping up, I think, more importantly. One of those teams down slightly on the bottom, still need to find a way back up on that 7th position. This is going to allow TAMILAS to be able to solidify themselves.
I mean, absolutely phenomenal players. And of course, even looking onto the side there of Galaxy Racer, I mean, they've been able to acquire 7 kills in this game. So yet again, a good start there for them. And the teams, as we know, they are fighting to, 1, stay in the top 7. And the teams that we don't see in there just yet, they are fighting to get in. And as we've said before coming into the game, that leaderboard is so tight, so close. One good game, or even just one decent game, could be enough to upset that leaderboard tremendously.
Definitely, it's going to be all now on the cards for Miramar as well. To see what these teams can do. We said definitely teams who maybe don't perform as well on Erangel can now step up on the Desert Dunes. The likes of Nova, definitely still a team to watch, not quite out of it yet. As well as I think ZEUS, another one of these teams to be able to watch, is one of the favorites coming into the tournament. Definitely needs to have 1-2 good games before we start getting to the end of the day.
Well, of course, speaking of which, we are going to be hopping on into a quick break while we wait to get ready for our second match, which, of course, will be taking us on towards Miramar, as you've mentioned there, Wolf. But now, it is time for the break. We'll see you guys back in a short few minutes. Stay tuned and don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back. Here we are getting ready for our first visit on towards the Miramar map. We've seen a pretty spicy game coming in on towards Erangel. Of course, now as we move on through, we're expecting to see some crazy plays. But of course, my name is DK and with me is the ever lovely Highland Wolf. And this, of course, is the Thunder Cup, the preliminary round for the players there of the teams of Group B. And of course, well, as I've mentioned, we've seen some exciting stuff. So Wolf, what are we expecting to see moving into this match here on Miramar?
So definitely, of course, expecting the likes of FaZe, Infinity, BANGKRIRK. We set out Infinity and BANGKRIRK entering now into the playing path of Game 2. How they were able to specifically step up, potentially in Day 2, continue that through into Day 3. First game that they can do that. FaZe as well back on board like we saw in day number 1. A fantastic 16 kill game coming through from them. But also I think when we look towards Miramar here and teams that need to still step up that can do so, I think that Nova, they got off on the wrong foot, falling out in an unfortunate fight versus Galaxy Racer as well, another team to look at. But also I think the third team to keep an eye on here is ZEUS, and specifically Galaxy Racer. ZEUS didn't have bad games when it came to that first match. ZEUS got 6th position, they got 2 kill points. Galaxy Racer, they got 7th, but 7 kill points alongside that. So still a fair chunk of points coming their way, and it's definitely some work to do to improve though.
Yeah, and of course we did see an absolute banger of a match coming in from FaZe in that previous round. But now we're going to be looking to see who will step up and bring another banger performance. Will we see that come in from FaZe, or should we potentially see another team stepping up? As you've of course mentioned, you know, things are looking pretty tight on the overall leaderboard, and I'm curious to see exactly how the teams are going to bring it over on it towards Miramar.
When we think about that leaderboard and specifically, 9th position starting off today, no less than SEAL9. Their team unfortunately landing in 12th position, 0 kill points to their name in that first game, but they also were one of those teams that we said could potentially definitely steal one of those 7th, 6th position spots. However, also I think for SEAL9, they are quite predictable when it comes to this current position over on Creator Fuels entering through the north side, and I like that actually the way that some of these teams are inevitably going to change the way that they play overall. Revenant, they're now starting to form their position over in El Pozo, and for SEAL9, this could be a little bit dangerous for them overall, but not as dangerous, of course, as the side of Infinity, already in dueling with ZEUS, and ZEUS picking up 1 kill, very important for them. We've seen this fight multiple times so far now. It's 1-1 for each of these teams, but which will be the one to take the 2-1 in the best of 3?
Well, we're going to keep wondering about that for a little while longer as we now look to see exactly what ZEUS and Infinity will bring, as we see both teams, of course, very close together down over in and towards Monte Nuevo. So quite a bit of potential here for those engagements to find their way on through. Now we see, of course, the side here of Infinity looking to pick up another banger play. They've been just stepping it up over these past few games, and of course they ended off yesterday on such a strong note, so we could potentially see that come in once again today.
Definitely ZEUS is one of their stronger maps here, Miramar. But also when you look at Miramar in this lobby, an interesting change of playstyle, because overall you can see these teams clustered together, and despite the fact that that playing path was tricky, it's not tricky enough to negate what was the likes of Happy and the Patron, around Junkyard, Water Treatment, Cruise Develop, all these locations that could be used, but just aren't ever touched by these teams. And what we end up seeing is actually, by the mid-game portion, down to about 10 teams, there's a lot of these lobby of these players that do end up dropping by these first few minutes, all off of the fact that they hot drop onto each other.
Well, speaking about a hot drop, we've got the players here from Beta and the Raptors, of course, right up close and personal, looking to see, of course, oh yes, here we go, no point in waiting. The action is happening right now, as of course the Raptors are coming to a bit of an abrupt stop there, as Beta is trying to take those hits, the shots find their way on through. Of course, now beautiful exchange on both sides, as both the players here from the Raptors and Beta Sentinels are going at it right here over in towards Chumacera, and things are looking pretty exciting as we can see the kill feed now starting to light up. All the teams now taking the queue and getting stuck into the fights.
Icy Racer up against SKYLIGHTZ as well, but it all came off of their Raptors able to actually take a win over Beta in this fight, because Beta, they got a little bit too aggressive with their frontline man, and they actually didn't allow Michi, their backline player, to be able to now counter what was that initial first coming through for Raptors. So they get one extra for Raptors, they don't get anything back. Beta down to 2 players means that Beta already had to run their way now out of the fight, now without much to be able to do. Now stuck also in between all the rest of these teams inside the zone. But for SKYLIGHTZ Gaming as well, a much more trickier position for them. Already now going to be caught out, you've got to imagine, by that quick rotation, as we've already got to see before by FaZe. An interesting way that FaZe do actually play this game overall, ending up in Picardo, and even when the zone goes towards them, they rotate very, very quickly out to hunt for those kills.
Oh, but of course now ZEUS and Infinity facing off over in towards Monte Nuevo, and it seems like Icy is now the last remaining hopeful for the team here of ZEUS. So quite a bit of aggression already coming in from the side there of the players from the Infinity, but now will they be able to wrap it up and find these final few points? As you've mentioned, this is a strong map for ZEUS, but so far, oh, they're not looking too great.
And this is where it gets bad, right, for ZEUS, when they do end up falling down in this early game fight. And when ZEUS statistically do take the win over Infinity, it works out very well. So then you look back to where ZEUS are dropping, you've got to imagine that ZEUS, looking into game number 4 of Miramar, if they're still needing these points, why not just drop somewhere else where you do have the statistics on your side, but if you do survive towards that mid-game, you end up taking potentially a very high result, high kill points, and even as we've seen before, a win on this map. So it is a question mark above them to see them going for the same strats, even though it's not 100% guaranteed that we do get those points.
Well, it is definitely going to be interesting to see exactly how ZEUS Icy is going to take this, because as we can see, the players there from Infinity, they are now looking to clear it up, looking to push on through just to ensure that they can find the final confirm onto the side here of ZEUS. But of course now we see Icy sending the smokes out the window, trying to potentially distract the players from Infinity, hoping to lure them out into the open. So this could maybe be a big brain play coming in for Icy.
He's trying his best. They're trying to do what they can to survive. But Icy might just be one of those moves that allows Icy to then circumvent the fight and be able to run away while Infinity is checking that smoke. Unfortunately for them, though, Icy isn't going to move, so that potential off-angle smoke to try escape out of an unwilling fight actually doesn't work out. Icy, they couldn't even go for the angle because there are, as we say, just too many of those Infinity players to go for. It is very tricky indeed, and now as Infinity coming closer, they check these buildings one by one. You've actually now led a path, led a line for Infinity to walk straight into the building he's currently sat in.
Yeah, of course, it is going to be pretty tricky. So, unfortunately, that play not working out for Icy just yet. But, of course, Icy still has a fighting chance, looking to potentially just wait for the players here from Infinity to move up right ahead of the barrel, right into the line of sight. And as, of course, now we can see God Tony just down below, looking to make a little bit of a push. But here we go. Oh! Oh, very swift end for ZEUS, but what a play coming in there from Infinity. But now, as we hop on over to the side here of Beta, we see them pushing in once again with the aggression. Now looking to pick up the points onto the side here of Raptors. And of course, Raptors having a pretty tough time. As we can see, Slayer is down for the count. But now we look to see what that final Slayer player, well, there's 2 of them rather, positioned down up in towards the south here, what they're able to do, and if they'll be able to swoop in and save the day for their team. As you can see, of course, now, ooh, Sinister.
What are they doing? What is that position, DK? You see Slayer so far down to the range of the rest of their team on the bottom of the hill into Beta. You see Sinister going in weirdly on an angle would have even helped Slayer because you have to drive the vehicle in. You can't shoot while you're driving as a solo, of course. And now Paratosh not able to be able to defend because they are so far away. In this 3v1, 3v2 situation, so to say, against Beta, could have worked out very well for Raptors, but they take it as if they're all solo players. And that synergy, once again, which I think is why Raptors are unfortunately at the bottom of this leaderboard, just not there when it comes to the team fights.
It is going to be quite interesting to see. And I mean, yes, I agree with you. This is not the best strategy coming out from the side of the Raptors. Would have liked to rather have seen a little bit more of that synergetic play coming in from the team. But now, of course, Beta, they are relying on their synergy. You can see the positioning they're in, the way they are moving through. They're moving like a unit. And I'm hopeful that Beta could, benefit from that, capitalize on that, slight disadvantage coming in for the Raptors.
Well, Beta should, because Paratosh still in a position where you can't actually take a shot into Beta if they go for Sinister, because they have the protection of those buildings. Yes, Paratosh can overlook for some extent when you try to rotate your way completely over to the opposite side of the road, but for Be-It, you can't still go out into the open, and only really have Sinister there to attack you from one specific angle. Again, the off-angle player Paratosh not in the right position to be able to punish Beta, and you can also see Galaxy Racer VR nevertheless up against AKUMA. And for Galaxy Racer, a much more important fight for them, because they, as we said, need to be able to get these points. And AKUMA, one of those teams who still in contention if they take a good win here to be able to get back into the top 7.
Oh, but here we go now. Beta looking to push on in. AKUMA now feeling the pressure, as we can see, of course, 4 teams caught up in that position. Oh, Michi gets ahead and goes right down. But now it is up to MYM to make the final dash here for the side, of course, of Beta. A good play coming in. Really good, solo play coming in from the side of the Raptors. But, of course, now, will we now see MYM beat them in a 1v2 play? This is going to be quite the challenge, as the tables now have slightly changed on the side here of Beta.
Right, and this is why Paratosh moves through, so we can actually take an angle across that space in between the buildings. That's why it works out back into the side of Raptors, in order to be AKUMA now taking a second team here with them. Galaxy Racer also going to get frontlined by A1, and while that 1v1 cleans up, it's much more hectic though, DK, when it comes to that south side.
Oh, and of course now as we jump on towards Galaxy Racer, you can just see the position and they find themselves in. Of course now, A1 position right there over towards the east of their play. And another potential bit of aggression that we could be see coming through here.
Galaxy Racer, they've got 2 members left, MJ, Matt Cash, but MJ not in the position they want to be. Matt Cash not there with a team to support. Relatively in their own fight versus AKUMA, and you can see as a result, MJ falls down, Rock's going to be going down, Galaxy Racer are getting picked apart. They tried to go for the fight into AKUMA, but they split their forces way too far when you understand that they are going to be teams rotating out Los Leones. There goes the final member. Max Cash gets limited out by the final member of AKUMA as well, but Kaid as well not in a good position themselves. The side of Mayhem as well to the south means that it will be caught in the middle.
Oh, I mean, Kaido really having quite a bit of a challenge here with the players there from A1. Now focusing all their efforts down below, looking to pick up the hits, the damage, the carnage. But of course, as we can see in the kill feed, the players there, the side of Beta Sentinels getting sent off into the lobby. Of course, the Raptors managing to find that play, those angles, and of course closing that one up. But now, as Kaido is looking to make a stand against the side here of A1, it is going to be quite a bit of a challenge, as it is a 1v4. And we see Dante now looking to push up a little bit onto the side here of AKUMA. But of course, just off in the distance, we have the players from MAYHEM also just causing a slight tad bit of mayhem there by themselves.
We said, right, a third party coming in. They allow actually AKUMA as a bait to be able to find those extra picks, those extra kills themselves. Immortal can't quite find either of them. Those Sinister will bleed out finally. It will be their side of MAYHEM to grab that one nevertheless. And Sinister as well going down means Dante's on their own. 1v1 versus AKUMA actually buys AKUMA some space.
Oh, here we go. Dante now looking to rush in, pick up the hits, and of course close up this fight. But here we go. The rush is real, and with that, Dante secures the point on the squad wipe. But now this has opened up that opportunity for the players from MAYHEM to creep a little bit closer and find a good potential position onto the side here, of course, of the players from A1. But we see that disengage now come through as MAYHEM continues on their path back up in towards the zone, with that shift now heading once again over towards the west. This is where things are going to get particularly tough.
In already tough for BANGKRIRK. They've had to take one clean fight, yes, against TAMILAS, but unfortunately for them, here come to the rest of the teams. Yes, you have the best position in zone, doubt, you have the hill, you have the center, but in this situation, it acts like it is a city once again here. Yes, it is going to be high. Yes, it's going to be a good position to overlook in the mid game for vision, but there's also going to be so many angles that you can be attacked from because it's not a city compound itself. Infinity now coming in for one angle though.
Oh, and the shots finding their way straight on through as we also see No getting knocked out right there on the spot. Now it is, of course, up to Amde to make that final stand, that final play alongside Narf. Now their numbers, of course, getting reduced down to 1. So BANGKRIRK already having a pretty tough party right here as Infinity is now dialing up the aggression, looking to close it up. But Fate now using this opportunity to come swooping in on towards the side here of Amdi and really just applying the pressure.
And BANGKRIRK expecting, going for a split, that they could hold this position off in zone as a 2-1-1. Very brave of them to do so, but will be their downfall. Their confidence is Andy now up against all 4 members of FaZe as well on the offside. Narf as well, unfortunately for themselves, not going to be able to do much to be helping in this fight. You can see when you look at Narf's perspective, only real limited vision on FaZe because of the way that those original lines do work. The fact they put smoke down as well, that actually blocks their angle in.
Oh, I mean, a really tough day here now, as you can see. BANGKRIRK, oh, Amdi facing the end. This is going to be a really tough play. FaZe now, of course, showing up, bringing in the aggression once again. They haven't been able to find any kills just yet, but of course now with the shots going off in the back, they quickly close it up onto the side of BANGKRIRK. And now, I mean, a Narf caught in a very, very difficult predicament. So many teams in the vicinity. I can't blame Narf for dropping down into the well. That's a good position to be holding for now.
You can hold it for now, but they're definitely going to check it with time, Ben. You got to imagine Narf being in a position where you don't have any vision of teams coming up front. Yes, you survive, but you're only going for placement points. A desperation play if that's in what is a very, very dire situation in the middle of this zone. We'll have to move, though, nevertheless. The zone will shift all the way back over towards Chimicera. And when you look towards Chimicera, those hills just above actually the C and the H of Chimicera on the map there, the most contested and most valuable location I would have to predict coming into this new phase shift because of how, as we say again, the high angle potential, the vision potential really does come through when it comes to Miramar, to be able to get as many kills and as much information as you can as it goes into even more difficult phases later on. Narf, you were seeing them head towards it, but because of course they only have one player, it would be a bit suicidal to be going up to that hill.
But I mean, in the meantime now, Infinity looking to push on in. We got Myth down in the valley, but of course the players here from Seal9 right alongside the side of Infinity. So quite a few interesting plays coming in, and of course we can see in the kill feed their FaZe now just going at it once again, looking to clean it up, looking to rake in those points, and boy are they putting in a lot of aggression. And this is what we are enjoying so much about this. It's just the sheer level of aggression coming in from these teams. It is calculated aggression, and it's absolutely fantastic.
But when it comes over to these teams still coming in, it actually will be Nova who have to go for the fight first against none other than you would have to imagine Johnny Black, who they could potentially take out these solo players, but Memory gets into the zone, but now into a position where it's completely flat open, going towards the shed, but Narf is already in there, it's occupied, and Narf, gotta imagine this is a do or die time.
Oh, and of course now we've got another fight breaking out between the side of Revenant and of course the team coming in there from FaZe CLAN. So many difficult engagements finding themselves across the zone. But of course now we're looking to see what the players here on the side of Revenant will be able to do. Quite a bit of a difficult position as the team there from FaZe are looking to close it up. They're turning up the aggression. And of course now you can see the absolute carnage being caused as FaZe start pushing in, looking to clean it up. But now, well, we see that guy in MR5 going up against the 3-man team that remains. Of course, there for the side of the players from Revenant. So really difficult positional plays we have coming in. But of course, to add to that, we got Infinity, got Tony, looking to sneak on up into the edge of the zone.
Infinity, yes, as we say, they're going to sneak their way in potentially, as well as we said, Nav taking one of the Nova team away from the equation, will still be alive as well, right on the edge of that zone. We'll have to move eventually, though, with time, but it is, of course, Revenant completely smoking out their position onto FaZe, buying time as much as they can. Understanding they are the ones in control of the building. In FaZe, as long as they're stuck outside, they can actually hope that these third-party teams come in to try to assault as well.
I mean, this is just carnage on the side of Miramar. I mean, Myth now meeting their end. And of course, we see the players there coming in. Of course, from the SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. Few hits getting sent across. But now, this is, of course, where we see the side of Revenant looking to hold on to their position. With the players from SKYLIGHTZ down over towards the north, they too have to still find that positional play, get that angle back up in towards the zone. But we have 9 teams remaining, and everyone are looking for their slice of the pie. Everyone are looking to bring in those points. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, the teams are fighting for that top 7 spots.
Top 7. Only going to be 7 of these teams. We've got 8 so far in the lobby. And when it comes to our winner chicken dinner of this game, you're definitely going to be looking towards Seal. They got a comfortable position in the center. They only now have to worry about the side of FaZe CLAN, the side of Revenant, but they will too be fighting before one of them comes out on top. They will hold on to their position, and we said Seal9, they needed these points indeed. They can try to defend their position as best they can, because if they can do so, Seal9, they start to come up in contention of, as we say, those top 7 overall.
Oh, now Join Me Black looking to find a position in the zone, but the sprays just erupt the moment they start moving. And of course, now we see the side there of DRS also looking to find a good secure angle on it towards this eastern side as they too take aim onto the side there of Join Me Black. And now it is up to Power to make that final potential hold. Of course, now the vehicle's getting blown up. They're running out of time. They're running out of space. Only a few more seconds remain on the clock before that blue zone starts closing on up. But now the fights continue to fly on through as FaZe MR5 gets knocked on down. And now it is up to that guy to make that play for the FaZe team.
FaZe, they had one good game already, but this definitely looks like a completely different story. Infinity as well on the backside, chucking in the explosives. There's nowhere left for FaZe CLAN. They're sharing the building with Revenant, but here come Infinity as well. Aggressive play, lose out Tommy, but we do take out FaZe. Down to the final 4.
Oh, I mean, that was a beautiful third party coming in on the side there of Seal9, capitalizing on the chaos just down below. But of course, now who said, keeping a very watchful eye, looking to potentially find a few more hits as they do have the compound play. It is a good position for the side of Infinity to be in, but of course now they too are starting to meet there, and Seal9 are looking to hold on. And the players there, of course, from Revenant looking to make their stand. 4 teams remain. DRS also coming in with a slight bit of a push in from the south, but they are the only team positioned within the zone.
But Infinity, they're choosing to hold on in this zone. This is risky indeed. They now drop themselves into the smoke. They have to try hold on using the blockades of the walls outside their own building. But the fact that Revenant are still alive, the fact that as well, DRS can overlook them. Infinity can be shot by every single other team in this game at this current moment in time. And DRS, they've stolen away the zone. And CO9, now comes the time for the utilities. They find a beautiful grenade backbow down onto one of them, and now the revives coming through. This is the optimal time for CO9 to ascend in.
Oh, I mean, but of course, the fight's still going absolutely crazy on the edge of that zone as the players there from Revenant are looking to make a few more points as they get ready to push on in. But of course, only 10 seconds or so remain on the clock. This is where the pressure gets absolutely insane. Of course, now the side here of Seal9 and DRS looking to claim those positions, those plays in this final few zones. But of course, now Seal9 still looking to find their way on in as the carnage starts erupting from the side of DRS, and an absolutely beautiful position they find themselves in.
DRS have been gifted this position, DK. You didn't have AG on the off angle to purposely take out Inky. S'mores have come in, but the rest of Seal 9, they tried to ascend anyways. But how much can the Seals do out of water? Can they be beached, or will they beach DRS? They take one knock throw for now.
Oh, those utils now getting sent on up, as well as we can see the side here of DRS looking to pick up the damage, and they do. They close it out. But of course, what a tough play as we see the players there from DRS swooping in with an absolutely phenomenal performance. 13 kill chicken dinner. Amazing stuff. And then, of course, we've got the players coming in to second place, being the Revenant Esports team. Still a good play that we had coming from them. But, of course, not really finding the kill count they were hoping for. But second place, 3 kills. I mean, it's not bad.
You get a placement points on board, right? You're able to get those points as need be, keep that momentum rolling, and get those extra amount of points that you need to be able to clutch yourself inside that top 7. Infinity, another good result from them. FaZe as well, taking high result as well. Means that actually some of these top spots, some of these high placement points are coming through to already these top teams who've guaranteed themselves inside that top 7 surely by now. Does actually put a lot of pressure on the rest of this lobby, because those like CO9 who weren't able to find that win, only picking up 4 kills, that was a very much their game to be able to take. They let it slide over to DRS over on that hillside. The zone then pushed them back, and as a result, they lose out on what could have been definitely a much higher, potentially even 10-point higher game, and they needed those points after a disappointing game 1.
Yeah, I mean, well, you got to make it up in some way, shape, or form. But of course, speaking about making it up, the teams will have yet another opportunity as we return towards Erangel for our final visit here in the prelims to see what the teams will bring. And of course, we'll bring you that action right after a short break. So stay tuned, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Hello and welcome back to our third match, of course, on this last day of the prelims of the Thunder Cup for the players from Group B. We're going to be looking to see which 7 teams will be moving on into the grand finals. Of course, my name is DK, and here with me is the ever-lovely Highland Wolf. Wolf, what are we expecting to see on our final visit on Erangel?
So we've seen 2 very different games so far, DK. We've seen FaZe CLAN, they wrapped up a major win on the first game of Erangel. But then coming back, it was actually DRS in the second game of Miramar who secured 13 kill points at Chicken Dinner as well. And overall, DRS, they didn't do bad in that first game either. Keep in mind, DRS also, they got 5th position. Yes, only 1 kill point, but definitely, nevertheless, those placement points, those 6 total plus that 7 overall points coming through for them. And DRS, one of these teams who, more importantly, still need a little bit of more points to be able to completely secure their space in this top 7. They started out today in 8th position, tied with TAMILAS for 7th, but now with that few good games that they've had, if they can keep this up, definitely going to be seeing them alongside them, the rest of the top 7. However, also on the other hand here, DK, is who has to then be eliminated to allow a team like DRS with their good games today inside that top 7. And you look towards the likes of Illuminate, Revenant, who haven't actually been performing as well as they previously had in the first 2 days.
Yep, of course, as you've mentioned, you know, we did see those chicken dinners come through. I mean, FaZe coming up in that first one, DRS picking up their first chicken dinner here, so quite a bit of contention coming in between these teams as they now look to fight it out for that top 7 slot. And I think it is still pretty neck and neck, just based on what we've been seeing coming in from the teams just in general here today. But of course, you know, it's going to be interesting to see, of course, who will be moving on through. And, of course, to help us decide, we see that ever-lovely zone forming up in towards the northwest. A lot of teams already within the zone. Only a few teams rotating out of that. But this is where we look to see, of course, exactly what the teams will be bringing. As that western bridge, the 6s there are looking pretty tough already with Galaxy Racer.
Definitely going to be quite tough indeed. In Galaxy Racer, they came in 16th position in that last game. Yes, they initially started themselves off in 4th, but they only had 81 points. They still needed extra placement points indeed to be able to guarantee that they go through inside this top 7. And if they have another bad game right now, up against the side of A1, definitely expecting the Galaxy Racer still in a little bit of danger. 2-2 split. Unfortunately, it does look a little bit dire for them.
Was a quick response coming in there from Galaxy Racer, but now an even quicker response coming in from the side there of A1 as they are now descending down upon MJ. And of course, Rocks, who are left to try and make this play. But it's going to be interesting to see at what point Max and Ultron would be looking to come in with that support to just try and save the team. As we can see, MJ now getting knocked on out. Rocks so low on health, but of course, oh, A1 just come rushing on in, looking to pick up the points. And now we see Max and Ultron positioned on the back end here. They could potentially still swoop in, but
Max,
man, it's going to be tough.
Indeed, right, and this is a problem. I think that Max Ultron, they would have been a lot better just moving their way over towards the hills of Pachinki, maybe anticipating with that zone going up north, they can start to head their way up there onto the northern locations themselves, start to loot up on their path even towards ruins, potentially where we know all of these teams don't actually go to, so it would be pretty free to go there early on in the initial few minutes of this game. However, they do seem to be going in, and despite the fact that now their 2 teammates have already fallen down, they get the initial first knock in. Yes, they find 1, but you can't find the rest of A1. Still 3 players alive means it's still a disadvantage.
Oh, and of course, A1 is going to be looking to hold on to this compound as long as they possibly can. As we can see now, oh, 6-9, boy, taking a little bit of damage as the side here of Galaxy Racer starts pushing on in. Of course, now this is a very dangerous dance around the building as we've got Ultron and, of course, Rocks on the opposite end, looking to push on in, looking to secure the points. And, oh, drop shot comes in, but it's not enough. as Ultron picks up the knock. They're putting that Uzi to good use. But now, Jax looking to make a stand, comes in. Oh, but down he goes. What a swift end that is, of course, there for the side of A1. But now we see the Raptors swooping in for a potential third party. Only a 3-man team.
Raptors, they're jumping straight in on board as well as Nova. They cleaned through the entirety of Team Mayhem. Nova back online as well, but Galaxy Racer, they're the ones being shut down. The off switch has been flicked, and Raptors, they are the ones putting the lights out for Ultron now, the solo player. Raptors, they needed these points. Yes, it's fairly unlikely without a miracle 2 games they get inside the top 7, but they're doing exactly what they need to, which is upset those with the chance.
Yeah, of course, Raptor having quite a bit of ground to cover to make it all the way up that leaderboard in a secure position in that top 7. But of course, well, if they continue with the momentum we've seen them on so far, I have no doubt that they will put in quite a bit of a performance as they now swoop in to put an end to the Galaxy Racers. But of course, as we can see, that zone has centered up on towards that northwestern side. But looking down onto the side of Infinity, down over in Sosnovka, things could potentially still work out for them as they do have ZEUS up ahead and they are looking to find those angles.
And when it looks towards the side of ZEUS down towards the south end, we've not seen actually fights over in Sosnovka, which is surprising to me here, DK, because this South Island in particular has been fairly open for the taking, especially around military base itself. And now finally we do get to see both of these teams, ZEUS and Infinity. They had the right idea. It's not been taken in the past. We go for it this time around in the final game of Erangel, assuming that would be the case. But ZEUS, nevertheless, they do take down Who Said, and Infinity, they are very, very split indeed. Mela on the top of that reactor lid is looking for the high ground, but for the rest of ZEUS, they are all in cover, and it puts the rest of Infinity split in not in a good position to help provide cover for the rest of the teammates. Who Said surely should go down unless Tommy can get a good shot in. Nia able to put one back in return, and that should buy the time as we asked for Who Said to get that revive in on through.
And of course now Tony has got Tony around pushing straight on into that, looking for that res. But of course, some absolutely phenomenal shooting coming in from near as he's getting closer and closer to the side there of the team from ZEUS. But now ZEUS looking to fortify their play here. They're of course looking to pick up the res, which they do successfully on towards Icy. Now this is where we could see Godless, Abely, and of course Wally now stepping up with those plays and causing quite a bit of pain for the side of Infinity.
And just for reference here, DK, as well, Infinity, they've already guaranteed their way through inside of top 7. Yesterday's series of events were insane for this squad, but ZEUS, they had their last place position in Game 2 so far. They, yes, had 6th position, 2 kill points at the first game of rank, but that's not good enough as a team entering into today in 13th position. They need these points, and this fight is so determinant of if ZEUS go through to that top 7 or not.
Oh, of course. Now let's see whether or not ZEUS will be able to stand a fighting chance again the side here of Infinity. Of course, Infinity just bringing the aggression like it's no one's business. And of course now the shots finding their way on through. They're looking to find a few claps along the way. Of course, Godtani now taking quite a bit of damage. But with the addition of this blue zone, no surprise to see a quick knock rather coming in there from Godless.
Godless putting in a work that needs to be done. Sunny will go down for now. Who Said had been revived though, so still a 3-on-4 situation. ZEUS, yes, they have the numbers advantage, have the zone advantage as well. They take off the off-angle player, and now Infinity, they are in a little bit of a trickier position to take a good fight. Keep in mind, Mela also onto Abely, does pin away Abely, so does make it a 3-on-2 situation for Nia, Who Said, to be able to take a clean fight, potentially, if they get a nice angle in. But they're using also Tunny as a bait, not going for the first. So now that the rest of Infinity move their way on forward, I see coming in from one angle, Godless from the other. They're looking to try use one member to find that second.
Of course, now we can see a quick repositioning happening up in the north there for the side of ZEUS. But of course, Infinity now just sticking to their positions, not budging just yet. But that blue zone is, of course, starting to wreak havoc as the players are taking a slight bit of damage. It is only the first phase or second phase zone. It is doing only a small amount of damage, but of course, we look to see just how the teams are going to try and get out of this and secure themselves a good position in the next zone. As we now look back up in towards zone, I mean, FaZe, they've pushed right on to the top of Everest. Absolutely beautiful positional play coming in from them here.
Right, just to do it straight out my mouth. FaZe, they're going in hard for the high ground position. They get the information, the stronghold that we need to take right smack dab in the center of that phase 2 shift. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, BANGKRIRK alongside Johnny Blackthrow, they're all down at the bottom end looking for that angle in as well. But what will end up happening is those teams will try go in. Whoever goes in first, the third party, the fourth party starts happening. It starts to end up the carnage for these teams at the bottom. FaZe, they can just retreat back. However, for KarpX, a different story because they are the solo player. Now they have AKUMA going to be crossing the bridge surely with time. Seal as well joining in as well. Inky, if they can take down KarpX, this is a big move for Seal to enter up now into the zone. Be able to enter in safely to the south of Georgia Pole as well and try to centralize their position inside the zone. Seal, as we said, they had the potential to grab those points when it came to that previous match. Weren't able to do so, but now the time is ripe. ZEUS Infinity as well going off.
Oh, and of course, Infinity now looking to just get tending to the wounded, as we can see, of course. Miller and Nia both getting knocked out, but here comes IC just looking to move up a little bit there for the side of ZEUS, who said now, of course, looking to take aim and put the shot straight on through. Of course, some beautiful nades coming in from Miller, just on point, but ZEUS now, oh, come rushing in, ending it right there for Infinity, and that is the end for them on Erangel. But of course, now they still have Miramar to continue their play. But a good start here for ZEUS, and of course we're going to be looking to see whether or not ZEUS will be able to continue with that momentum and try to secure a good position up in towards that leaderboard. But now, as we jump on towards Myth, we can see Sensei, the last remaining hopeful here, looking to find a few points over on towards Nova, but Nova coming in with the rotations, the strats, the wraparound plays. I think things are looking pretty grim here for Sensei.
Nova, they're just looking to finish up what they started here. Finish off Mayhem. Sensei just drive away in time. Understand that they are starting to circle in, but Sensei won't be the fourth man to go down just yet. You gotta imagine should be able to drive back into safety. But that was a must-win fight when we look back towards ZEUS and Infinity. DKB had to be able to pick up those points. However, at the expenditure of how long they are staying inside of this zone for. Already this zone is heading into now phase 3. And yes, it's only phase 1 that they've been tanking, but also they've used and burned through a lot of their utilities, a lot of their healing already to be able to take that fight onto Infinity. And ZEUS, they're going to have to slow their game down to be able to pick up more loot, but they're already effectively 3, 4, 5 minutes behind the rest of these teams who, when it comes to that mid game, going to be a lot better off. And ZEUS, they do have to be careful about that.
Oh, yeah, they definitely have to be careful with that. But of course, another team that didn't worry about being careful was the side there of Nova, as we just saw them pushing in on towards the remaining player there from the Myth team. But of course, as we now hop on over into the players coming in from, well, this is supposed to be DEWA United, but I assume this is the players from Illuminate. There we go. I think that is who we are. Yes, that is indeed who we're looking at. Illuminate. The team's all having a bit of a shuffle with the team slots, so we're trying to cope and handle all the different changes that we've got going on here. But again, now we look to see what Illuminate will bring. We had a few interesting plays coming in from them, right, in the previous matches. And of course, they did come into today sitting in 6th place, right? So they do have a good chance. But of course, sitting only on a 2-man team, it's looking pretty tough for them.
Unfortunately, yeah, 2-man team. It's going to be, unfortunately, how long you can survive in the zone at this point. When it comes to this next phase, phase 3, going to go wide all the way over to George Pole. And this is where we said it was so important to take down KarpX for FaZe, because FaZe, they have that member heading into George Pole who's able to look over those south crates. And as Seal will move their way in, KarpX can look to try finish off one of those members. FaZe as well going to have to move their way eventually off of Everest. It is on the edge of the zone. Very unlikely if it does move over to George Pole. Going to be very dire for FaZe to come off the high ground into the late game point of this game. But the likes of the Raptors team of AKUMA also entering into these crates, expecting actually a lot of priority around here, not only its central position, but how many people are starting to die already on these rotations.
Yeah, and of course now we see the side here of SEAL9. They are pretty spread. I mean, this is not the ideal position, the ideal match to be coming in with quite a bit of a spread like that, as we can see now, of course. The hits and the kill feed starting to find their way on through, but this is where things are looking exceptionally tough for the players of SEAL9 especially.
I think actually what is interesting is teams haven't gone for that bridge actually over to George Pole. Look at the way the zone is positioned here, DK. That zone could still very much shift towards the north side of George Pole as well. And teams not picking that up initially, instead going for the crates and trying to prioritize a much shorter path through to the northern side isn't actually the best option here. You could go for the off-angle play, you go for the placement points. And Johnny Black, they are going to do that, you've got to imagine. They're going to go wide alongside a coastal line. BANGKRIRK, they could also do the same. But for the rest of these teams, instead heading in, they don't decide to play around that northern side, which is very feasible to do in the way that this zone has shifted, and try to play, as we say, for the placement points overall. Even the likes now of Beta moving directly now into DRS as well on that eastern front, instead of taking a bridge across Rostock into that northern side as well.
Oh, and of course now we see the knocks come through onto the side here of Beta. Oh, as they are just getting caught in a beautiful ambush. And now it is up towards SKYLIGHTZ to make that final dash. And of course try to find a secure position. But their hits are just lasering on through. And of course the vehicle taking quite a bit of a beating. It is on the knife's edge. It is about to explode. Of course now the shots are still flying in as the Raptors also take aim onto our remaining player here from Beta, being SKYLIGHTZ. It is a tough spot to be in, even with so many teams positioned up on towards Everest.
But this is a problem that comes through all too often, is when Beta don't look at the map and actually where that zone is. They had plenty of time to rotate through Rostock. They had plenty of time to survive in the northern George Pole. There's no one there on the map. And actually Beta, they go way too aggressive in for a quicker play. They don't have the priority in the zone, but last to get inside. And as a result, they lose all their players for it. A hard punishment for their mistake. And even now, the likes of these teams, as you understand, ZEUS still catching up with that blue zone, still coming in. You gotta imagine they're minimal on loot at this point in the game, as that zone continues another shift just as ZEUS catch up to the previous one, back over to the south side. And yes, it does play into where these teams were going, but if you look at what could have happened, definitely teams who would have actually put themselves on that western bridge still could have came in on a wide flank around the north side of this zone and still been scot-free from the danger to the south.
Oh, I mean, quite a bit of danger now potentially lining up here as the teams are yet again trying to squeeze even further in towards the zone. 13 teams remain, 43 players still alive. And of course, if we look onto the side here of BANGKRIRK Esports, they themselves are facing quite a bit of a challenge. They're looking for this entry point, sneaking on in over towards the western side. But it is going to be absolutely chaotic once the teams start pushing on in towards the Georgia Pole crates. And this is where we're expecting to see those absolutely clutch plays coming through.
The thing is, the crates itself are the only protection in what is a extremely flat zone when it comes to Erangel. Yes, we know about open zones, but there is virtually no hills, only trees, only crates, only those warehouse compound that is able to protect these teams. SEAL9 already trying to fight their way through against their own fight down towards the south side. They're trying to fend off their position indeed inside those warehouses, but it's just too much. You've got to try find an off angle, the edge of the compound play that will allow you to survive, like what BANGKRIRK are doing, because as you can see, REVENANT trying to defend, they're getting destroyed.
Oh, I mean, yeah, their numbers dropping so quickly. And of course, now they are getting surrounded as the side here of SEAL9 look to pick up that squad wipe, looking to close it out. And of course, they do so finding the hits on towards Revenant, sending them backing. But now we also still have Nova hovering in and around that southern position, right there on the foot side of Everest. And of course, now they are just taking an absolute beating as Syphan and Memory get knocked on out. And now it is up to Rin to make the final play here for Nova. I mean, fortunately, Rin is secured within the zone, does have that position, of course, in that little shack, but it is going to be absolute hell to get out of.
Surprises me actually, Nova didn't send a second player over with Rin. Indeed, with a vehicle potentially just to be able to survive inside the zone. That zone will shift over to the edge of Rin as well. Will go over to the bridge, which puts even more pressure on these teams. The water as well, now even equaling that this zone could go still nevertheless to the north side as well. There's a lot of pressure on these teams to decide exactly where they do want to be positioned in. You can already see TAMILAS striker is going to go for the fishing strat. Is going to hold in alongside AKUMA inside the river for those placement points indeed as well. But BANGKRIRK, they do play the zone right more so than the rest of these teams, positioning themselves already around the mountainside, playing for what is a very specific amount of high ground left inside this zone. They're holding up against Seal, and Seal already starting to fall down, of course, again, when we look at those utilities, already taking multiple fights to grab their way inside, but now we need to exit back out of the crates as well.
I mean, of course, now DRS looking to find a position up on the north there as they look to put the shots into the side there of AKUMA. Of course, a beautiful hit already finding its way on through, but now they're looking to push up even more so as they send the nades on over AJ, blowing up the vehicle. And now AKUMA again finding themselves on a bit of a back foot here. They only have Flux and Kaido left to make that final play for the team and try to secure a position moving in to those later phases. But of course, now looking at DRS, this is going to be an
ZEUS.
absolute challenge for them.
ZEUS are going wide heavy in all across the bridge. One gets confirmed through. Godless the solo play. They need to make an aggressive play like that. It works out for now. But can ZEUS hold on? Mafia Ninja is already there. AJ off in the off angle.
Oh, this is going to be so tough. But of course, the nades are getting sent on over. And of course, the team's still turning their attention in all directions. As you can see, DRS still holding up on towards the southern side there alongside AKUMA. But here we go, Godless stepping up. Oh no! The hits find their way on in. And very abrupt end. But of course, now Rin. Oh, also meeting a really tough finish there. Absolutely insane, chaotic zone. But now we see the side here of BANGKRIRK, of course, looking to pick up a few more hits onto the players there from DRS, who we have just up ahead of them. But of course, over onto the western side, Seal 9 are looking still to hold strong, as there are so many teams looking to push in, finding a position up in the zone. But it is absolutely insane. Such a tough play.
Side of TAMILAS as well, they're just holding on inside that blue water, holding with the healing strategy, not willing to give their position away, but they do have a vehicle there, which means they can also attack DRS on that crossing if need be, if they're willing to take that risk. There will be AKUMA as well on the rest of the side, trying to find out that two members. 5 smoke roads already across, but what do AKUMA have left to make that revive in? They're now pinned. It's very predictable where they are. A few good sprays would finish them off, though. They get the revive through. Flux is back in. And all the meanwhile, still these teams along the crate, still full squads alive.
I mean, of course, now the side here of the Raptors looking to hold on. Sinister now quickly pulling off that res onto the side there of Frankie. But now as they get ready to push even further, they have to go past the side of Seal 9 as the blue zone is closing on in. And of course, Sinister gets hit. Frankie looking to make the final dash, looking to get ahead. But Seal 9 just up ahead. Amara holding up the fort, but of course gets knocked out in the process. Frankie not out of it just yet, looking to just sneak on in. Oh no, Senor steps up, sends the hits on through, and of course puts an end to that play. Inside here of BANGKRIRK now looking to make their own push into the blue, but the zone damage is just absolutely brutal, and they get sent back very abruptly. But now 3 final teams left to fight it out, and of course that is the side of DRS, that is the side of Seal. And then of course, well, we've got the team position all the way down in the south. They're being Join Me Black.
What are they doing? Sentinel goes in for the rock, but drives straight in the line of fire of DRS. There's no smokes to defend them. CO9 would lose a member just like that, down to a duo, and just like this, you gotta imagine 2 up for DRS against Seals when it comes to the final showdown. Johnny Black, with time, should fall, but might even grab a second place with the mistakes that Seal are making.
Wow, absolutely insane plays we have coming in yet again. But of course, now this is where we look to see who will be the team to secure that chicken dinner. Of course, now we got joining me, Black sneaking on in. The kid just making his way on through the grass, but DRS just absolutely relentless in their efforts onto the side there of Seal9. They are just sending up an absolute barrage of hits, just bombarding them with lead, hoping that any of those could find the point. But of course, now Seal9, they've already been playing quite a tough match so far, as Inky and Monkey now look to push up those kill points past 12. They could potentially push it all the way up on towards 16, as they now pick up the first one already. Quite a bit of carnage onto the side there of DRS, and of course Inky just spraying for better days, finding quite a few hits on through. And of course now Mafia Ninja just holding on. Of course the Reds is finding their way on in, but Monkey and Inky get taken down. What? DRS just playing an absolutely phenomenal game. And of course now Join Me the Kid left to make the stand. The shots are finding their way on in, and that is the end of Erangel. Absolutely insane play coming in from the side there of DRS, securing themselves an absolutely phenomenal 14 kill finish.
DRS, just like the 14 kills, a second chicken dinner, they have definitely secured their position inside this top 7 by this point in the night. Join Me Black, though, they take down also a second position. Grab also alongside them 5 kills. So actually, Join Me Black, still the potential there for them. But they still need another good game on the final match of Miramar. For CO9, though, you've got to feel heartbreak for the second time in a row against DRS, a third place finish. Yes, they grabbed more kills this time around, but they really need these placement points, as many as they can muster, because yes, they're still going to start to struggle.
Man, this is just insane. I mean, if we look at the performance just coming in from the top 3 teams here, DRS, absolutely insane 14 kill, all right? Join Me Black finishing off strong with 5 kills. But then Seal9, oh, dude, come on, really? Like, finishing off on another 13 kill. We're seeing some absolutely beast mode plays coming into these matches here today. But of course, as we get ready to move on to our final map, the final round on towards Miramar, that is where we're expecting things to be just popping off onto a whole different level. And of course, I mean, I'm sitting on the edge of my chair waiting to see who will move on through. It is absolutely insane. The tension is just crazy. And of course, well, we look to satisfy the tension as we come back right after the break with that Miramar match. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and we'll be back with some insane action. Hello and welcome back to our final round of the prelims for Group B right here on the Thunder Cup, brought to you by Empire Esports. Of course, we're expecting to see the teams pop off in this final match as we head on in towards Miramar to see what is going to be happening. My name is DK and with me is Highland Wolf. Wolf, what are we expecting to see in this final match?
Okay, so we've done the maths, and what we can expect going through into this final match is there are some teams guaranteed into the top 7 going to be earning that $1,000 worth of prize pool at the end of this Group B stage. So the Infinity, FaZe CLAN, BANGKRIRK, Galaxy Racer, they've all done enough to secure themselves inside that top 7 by whatever happens in this final game. Seal as well, they are also effectively now inside that top 7 as well. They're currently set with 86 points going into now the final match, so they are pretty safe too. Then it comes down to, however, DK, the final 2 spots. Who is going to be able to take that? And we have to actually look at 3 teams who have the potential still to be able to take those spots. The likes of ZEUS, Join Black, and TAMILAS. Now, Join Black, they are the ones that sit on top out of these 3 teams. They are sat at 72 points in the meantime. TAMILAS are sat in second out of these 3 teams with 62 points. And ZEUS, after that 3rd game, now sat at 57 points. So ZEUS, mathematically, at this point in time, they're the ones who get eliminated. The onus is on them. TAMILAS, however, they're only 5 points ahead of them, and Join Black, they're only 15 points ahead of ZEUS. So definitely still, with 1 good game, ZEUS, they need it, but they could still be able to steal one of those spots in.
It is going to be absolutely insane. It's stunning stuff to watch once we get on into the match to see exactly what is going to be happening. And of course, well, you know, everything is coming into this to see which will be the teams to move on through in towards that grand finals. But I gotta say, just over the past 11 games we've been going through, the teams have just been bringing in an absolute insane level of gameplay. Of course, we weren't expecting to see anything less than that. But I mean, just looking at the immense performance we've had so far, absolutely phenomenal stuff.
Indeed, and when it comes to ZEUS needing these placement points, they, and apologies, do actually sit on 56 points, not 57, so they will be 6 points behind TAMILAS and now 16 points behind Join Black. I've done the maths, I've double checked it. The rest of it is right, I do confirm. Is it, of course, will be ZEUS still, though, needing actually even 1 more point past TAMILAS, get past Join Black. And I think the biggest surprise coming through when it comes to these top 7 qualifiers here, DK, has been Join Black in specific. They started after the first day with only 12 points, and then they came in today with 46 points on the leaderboard. Now they're sitting at 72 with still 1 game to go. We didn't expect them being on the literal bottom of the leaderboard after day 1 to now be contesting in the top of these teams. And definitely a scary team to look at. Join Black, whatever they've said to each other after that first series of matches, it has worked for them because they look like an entirely different team.
Yep, of course, can't wait to get in and see what exactly that zone will bring, where the flight path will go. And of course, then how the teams will be looking to set themselves up in throughout these zones. But of course, you know, that flight path can still go either which way. So I think this run, especially this match, is going to be, it's going to be the ringer. This is the one I'm expecting to see the most insane plays come from. Because just looking at how the day has progressed, we started off pretty strong onto the side there, of course, coming in on towards Erangel. Really banger of a match coming in. Moving into the second one, of course, right on Miramar as well. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Then the last one, the last Erangel match we just watched, that was just absolutely insane. So I'm expecting Miramar to be on a whole different level. Because, of course, the teams are fighting to get up into that top 7. And as you've mentioned, it is pretty close, neck in neck fighting for the teams to secure those positions.
when it comes to securing those positions here in this final game, though, DK, it is, as we say, down to those three teams. The spotlight is on them. The pressure insurmountable when it comes to this final game for them. And keep in mind, we're not playing in a TPP of the old days of these three games before us. It is the FPP battle that we now jump in on top of. And if we also see, I think more importantly, one of those teams in contention, ZEUS, if they drop over on Infinity. If I'm ZEUS, I think actually I don't drop on Infinity this time around, as I did suggest previously. I think look for another location on the map. There are plenty of them, considering if you just go towards the likes of Hacienda, Water Treatment, La Bendita, all of these places, good for loot early on, not contested.
Yeah, of course, now we're going to be looking to see exactly where the teams are going to choose to move into. And of course, already El Pozo looking pretty crammed. We've got the three teams dropping in and around the region there. Of course, we can see the players coming in there from the side of Galaxy Racer already in position. We've got the players also then from Revenant dropping down there, as well as Seal 9. So things already looking pretty hot and heated, but Monte Nuevo as well. Again, heavily congested with teams and players. And now, this is where we wait to see exactly what the teams will bring to the table in this final showing on Miramar. And of course, this is where I'm expecting to see those calculated plays come on through.
Indeed, and unfortunately around Monte Nuevo, we do have to see ZEUS and Infinity fight. The danger levels have been set in ZEUS for the third time against Infinity today. They have to fight against Infinity. They have to win this time around. They did not win previously. They won on Erangel so far, but they have to beat out Infinity once again. And this is scary stuff, considering that ZEUS, their back is against the wall. They cannot fall now. If they fall now, they are eliminated. There are teams ahead of them on points.
I mean, it is going to be quite interesting to see what is going to be happening. But of course, now, if we look at the lineup that we've got here, you know, we've got Uzi in as well, or Nuzi in for the mixture of Infinity. So, you know, just cycling up the players, bringing in what they think is going to be a good lineup to make the run, to make the dash in towards this final matchup. And of course, well, we can see now the side of Infinity looking to push, looking to expand, explore just a little bit further through in towards Monte Nuevo. But of course, I mean, the map, the zone sitting up in towards the northwestern reaches, it is going to be pretty interesting. And even Chumacero, where we of course have the players there from the Raptors, going side by side, toe to toe with the end there of the players from Beta Sentinel. I mean, this is going to be absolutely phenomenal gameplay.
This is pride for Beta right now to try to take down Raptors. Raptors, they have been struggling as well, but pride for them equally to take down Beta above them, to be able to have one more good game for them. But yes, it was Raptors actually to secure their best game of Group B so far. 5th position, 5 kill points, 6 placement points in total, 11 points game for them. But Raptors, nevertheless, they still have one more fight to go before they can aggress into the rest of this game. Beta, they are coming up clutch. They do have as well bot on the off angle. Frankie going to be stepping out, trying to find that off angle player, but it will be Beta. Nevertheless, they enter in, still in man advantage, 3-on-3 with bot as well on the offside, as we say.
Oh, and here we go. Here we go. SKYLIGHTZ now just pushing into the building, looking to start off the party, but it happens on the side of Buddy Tosh, who already gets quite a bit of damage come through, but now they look to hold on to the position as we see Beta move on through. And of course, now Sinister sending the hits on over. Oh, come on, it's getting so close. Beta on the back end of the wall, but Sinister gets taken down. And of course, now Frankie looking to come in with a high ground play, looking to just sneak on in behind them. But of course, now Beta looking to spread on out, looking to find the hits. But of course, SKYLIGHTZ now having to make the stand there. Oh, down goes Sly. And of course, with that, down goes the side of Beta. The Raptors just moving in and absolutely demolishing them. Insane plays coming in there from the Raptors. But of course, that is only the first team down. Only the first of the 19 teams, or rather, the 16 teams we had in this lobby.
The Raptors, some of the best team fighting I think we've seen from them all groups so far. It was definitely calculated. They took down the off-angle player first. They searched specifically out for them. Then they go around multiple different angles. They try to take advantage of those knocked members. Coordination there for Raptors equals out on their success immeasurably in this final fight. FaZe, though, they're also up against Nova. They do take down Fan. So now with Fan out as well, it does mean that FaZe, they are able to more effectively press into the eastern side of Power Grid. And keep in mind, Memory not even there in the fight. So the best thing that Nova could have been effectively doing is retreating from this, not allowing Corpex to rotate round behind them and get a nice off angle to stop them doing just that. However, they do go in for the fight in full Nova fashion, and Nova, they will have to inevitably potentially meet their fate and punishment for it. ZEUS as well going to be punishing through one, at least now on to the side of Infinity, but they will also suffer one kill knocked as well.
Oh, I mean, that is just heating up as we see the teams fighting it out. But a good positional play coming in from ZEUS as they look to turn up the aggression onto the side of Infinity, already finding so many knocks on in. But this is now where they look to make that final stand as they come rushing on in. Infinity looking to hold on for dear life, but ZEUS, comes rushing in. Godless gets knocked on out, but up comes Wally. Oh, no. What a play for Infinity.
Disaster! They went for the kills. They didn't go for the final player. ZEUS in the pressure. They fall down. Their result is not good enough. Definitely seal Johnny Black. They join up inside that top 7, and now the rest of this game is all about who wants that final chicken dinner, who wants that prize pool right in the tip top of the leaderboard, because it's already established. Seal, Johnny Black, they're gonna join in with the rest.
Absolutely insane plays that we have coming in, but of course we still have 14 teams remaining. We see the side there of Nova pushing up quite aggressively into that central positioning within the zone. Of course, we have Seal 9 as well as the players there from REVENANT just up ahead of them. But looking a little bit further down south, so many more teams left to still find that position, that angle up in towards the zone. But I'm definitely expecting things to start popping off in this more centralized portion of the zone itself.
Around the center and specifically, you can see what is an interesting flank actually from FaZe. They've gone all the way. Instead of the fight in Power Grid, they actually go for the zone. They play for a dead center. And we've seen this not work out in the past. In fact, note back to, of course, the first game in Miramar we had previously where BANGKRIRK, they tried to actually perform around the Laterella hill, is actually where they had the comfort spot for them on the rotation into zone. However, could not hold that. They faltered trying to go for a 2-2 split. However, when you look towards FaZe now in this fourth game, a much better split from them. They've got 2 members of the front line. They know exactly where Nova are going to be rotating from because they had the vision through from Power Grid. You got MR5 and Corpex as well on the off angle looking for those third party flanks. So actually overall a much more effective positioning coming through from FaZe.
Yeah, and of course now FaZe starting to strike on down onto the side there of Nova. And of course, finding the first knock in towards Rin. Now it is up to SKYLIGHTZ and Memory to find themselves in those positions. And of course, potentially avenge their team player, preventing Rin from getting thirsted. As we can see, of course, the aggression just mounting as the shots finds their way on through. And of course, now the action just going absolutely crazy as FaZe are looking to send their hits up into the side here of Nova as they start to push on in, creeping closer and closer, turning up that aggression dial. But of course, now this is where we see Fate pushing on to the side. Of course, now Capex coming in with an off-angle play. And of course, now we have MR5 just rushing on up. But Rin and SKYLIGHTZ now looking to make a stand as FaZe push further and further up into this position. And it just really challenges Nova to make those plays. And of course, the Utils sending their way on through. Ren now trying to just avoid the damage, but of course taking quite a bit of that. Memory also mobilized elsewhere. It is going to be an absolutely devastating match here for Nova.
I like that Memory didn't go in to try assist. Memory this time around, they instead go for the absolute high ground that they can on the top of that mountain. They bring the car, the vehicle, all the way to the top, and Memory going to have a very effective position now in the central zone, as we said, to survive for those placement points. Nova, yes, there's nothing it can do, of course, to be able to secure their spot overall in that top 7, but it is about pride. It is about beating the rest of these teams, and especially when your organization is set dead world champions and has to now prove that they can at least hold there as much as they can against the rest of this lobby.
Oh, I mean, this is just looking so insane. I mean, SEAL9 and the side here of Revenant also exchanging a few shots back and forth. We also did see the end there of Infinity come in, and of course, you know, things are looking pretty tough as the teams have just dialed up their gameplay to a new height coming into this final round. But it's so far turning out to be an absolutely fantastic, phenomenal play that we have, with the zone now shifting up aggressively over on towards that eastern side. We're going to be seeing the teams now having to struggle to get on in. But of course, the players here from Join Me Black looking to make their own entry in from the south. It is, for the time being, a safe spot that they find themselves in.
Join Me Black, yes, they do head up, but more importantly, when you look at that map in particular, you zoom all the way out, you also see those flanking members of the Galaxy Race, you know, TAMILAS moving in indeed as well. And Galaxy Race, they've gone for what was a very interesting start. They went all the way back up to the ruins towards Trailer Park. They're rotating their back over to La Coberia. They're intending to come down in towards those hills, not where actually Revenant are currently set at, but actually just towards that northeastern point of the zone past them, where you look towards past up above the S of Creative Fields, looking along the edge of that ridge line, make their way down towards the bottom of that hill, and actually look over teams in the likes of SEAL9, Fear, but also with potential to rotate back up, rotate back behind water treatment as well, which is actually a very good position overall for Galaxy Razor to take. I think it is very optimal for them to take, and also the other option, of course, that they do seem to be going for is that even wider flank into water treatment. But for me, I think it's a little bit more indecisive of a rotation. I think it's a little bit more risky of a rotation, because you don't know really where to go once you do land on that wide rotation into water treatment. It's very open, as we know, the ravine in between Hacienda and water treatment compound itself, and they could find themselves already now gate-kept by those setting members of TAMILAS.
Yeah, it is going to be quite the interesting play nonetheless. But now, oh, the Raptors coming under a little bit of fire, as they too are looking to find a position up in towards the zone. Of course, now we can see Baritosh taking quite a bit of damage on the vehicle. It is smoking, so only a few more hits required to cause absolute carnage onto the side here of Raptors. They've only now remaining with a 2-player team, coming into the match with only 3, but now taking up their position, looking to potentially turn around onto the side there of Join Me Black. We see just hugging the edge of the southern zone, keeping a very watchful eye. But there we go, that ambush that you were talking about. The players there, of course, coming in from Team TAMILAS, putting the pain onto the side of Galaxy Racer.
And right, this is why we said Galaxy Racer are better going in between the mountains. Yes, of course, it is a more direct entry into zone, but you can understand that where teams initially have dropped through all the previous games of the group, where the zone has actually shifted towards. Around those critter fields, it should be fairly open. Water treatment, I don't initially expect they were going for and expecting TAMILAS to be there, because, of course, TAMILAS never have been there in the past, but this is why you always do have to be very careful, and that's why also when you do go around crater fields, it's much more easier to find buildings to hide against. It's not as open. You also have the potential to go across ridge lines to find even new covers away from teams if need be.
Oh, I mean, it is going to be an absolutely brutal zone, as we can see quite a bit of a convergence now happening in and around the San Martin Hills. Of course, several teams now looking to secure their positions up there. And of course, Galaxy Racer and the players here from TAMILAS still looking to hold on to the position they have up in the north. But Galaxy Racer now looking to rotate a little bit further down into the south there, looking to set themselves up for the coming few phases. But of course, as we now hop onto the side here of A1, you can see them holding on the side there of Power Grid, looking onto the side there of DRS. But of course, now FaZe starting to light up the party once again.
I like positioning more so through from DRS to secure around the plateau of San Martin, as well as the likes of CL9, even going for a heads-up play to look over the ridgeline on top of the the Patron compound itself, because of the fact that you have to expect teams will be rotating in there by this point, especially if it does continue to centralize in. So there is opportunity there for CL to be able to pick off rotating in members, as well as, of course, get that high ground information, which is so important. Instead of going into the city itself, you do get less information. It's a little bit harder to rotate out of if you do give up CO9's position. FaZe as well, moving in behind in towards Revenant, I think also could be an optimal strategy. However, for FaZe, I know they are an aggressive team. I think the best option for them right now is to just use those ridge lines, move in, we say, over towards the side of Hacienda Patron, San Martin, potentially look to cross that road if need be able to be adaptive rather than find yourself stuck in a fight on the edge of zone. And this edge of zone in particular is going to move in, but not before A1. They do find a beautiful pick onto one of those DRS members.
Yeah, of course, now we just saw Mafia Ninja meeting a very unfortunate end. But of course, now that zone just centering up on itself. And this is where things are going to get pretty tough. As we see the side here, of course, of BANGKRIRK now trying to push in from the western front. As they come rushing right in between the side of FaZe. And of course, FaZe already picking up a few shots onto the players there from SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. So it is a pretty tough entry point for BANGKRIRK. But now, so far, so good. Making a safe passage on through. We do have Nova just holding on the edge of the zone. But the rest of the BANGKRIRK team now also looking to improve their potential position as... Oh! First vehicle gets blown up. Oh, Amdi gets hit as well. Now it is all up to Nerf. The first player through the mess now needs to try and secure the play here for BANGKRIRK. Absolutely unfortunate play on the side there of BANGKRIRK, but beautiful shooting coming in from FaZe once again.
Beautiful stuff there from Seal as well. As predicted, Revenant do get smacked down. They lose one member as well, entering into Happy and Patron. Still going to be overlooked by Seal on the high ground. And when it does look towards that high ground specifically, even TAMILAS coming off of what was an effective fight into Galaxy Racer. Galaxy Racer, they established themselves inside the city, but also TAMILAS, they, with the advantage of that initial fight, will be able to secure a very open potential finish, especially if that zone does continue to go towards the north side. But contrary to that north side here, it's the south and this western front that is all about a fighting. You can see Nova Memory making that risky rotation in. All of these teams are around them.
Oh, A1 getting caught in such an unfortunate position there, of course, trying to pull the Reds off. But a beautiful capitalization coming in on the top of that, of course. Now losing two of the players here from A1 as they get sent on over back into the lobby to await their fate. But now, ooh, man, this is where it's going to be interesting. I mean, DRS, such a show of aggression coming in, but AKUMA also now looking to push onto the side here of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. We did see the few hits finding their way on through onto Fate as well. But now SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they've also been able to bring their numbers back up, securing their team for these later few zones as they now look to push up even further onto the side here of AKUMA.
Memory. I was looking at AKUMA, but also their Memory got away with the entrance into zone, but got way too greedy to enter into the actual San Martin compound itself. Could have actually settled along the ridge lines, could have easily survived past a lot of these teams, but will suffer 13th position for it. And it's these type of plays, which is why Nova actually, even though it does sound quite strict, they aren't inside the top 7 because they go a little bit too over aggressive at times.
Well, and of course, well, we see the teams time and time again getting punished for the mistakes they make, but of course that is the beauty of the Battle Royale. Some games you win, some games you don't. But of course, now we can see FaZe once again just popping off in the kill feed. And we have them just slightly up north from this current position where we, of course, see the players here from SKYLIGHTZ trying to hold up the aggression onto the side there of AKUMA.
AKUMA, though, they're going in 2-2 split straight on SKYLIGHTZ, and SKYLIGHTZ, they don't have the position on this zone. It's AKUMA with the priority. They held off in the power grid side so long, multiple phases, and they're being rewarded justly for it. Heaven now was the Bolihang, the only one alive, but there comes the blue zone behind them.
Oh, this is going to be a tough play here for Bolihang. Let's see, will he be able to get it as AKUMA rush on in? Oh, what? Not even breaking a sweat in the bush. They're finding the shots on through, but of course now that guy from FaZe trying to come in with that third-party play. FaZe, of course, now just hugging the edge of zone, but they too need to look to get back up in towards zone. But down in the south, things are looking pretty dire for A1 as they have been reduced down to only 2 remaining players. And now we see the side here of DRS looking to aggress on top of them, looking to bring in those players and, of course, well, close it out there for them, hoping to send them back into the lobby. But 6ix9ine boy and Dante, oh, now being reduced to only 6ix9ine boy. What an absolutely tough, brutal match this has been for A1.
A1, unfortunate for them, not able to quite close out that final game how they wanted to. Had potential more than one of these teams to be able to secure themselves inside that top 7, just hasn't worked out for them. And unfortunately, we'll have to go back to the drawing board. We'll have to, unfortunately, face elimination. However, it was a good result from them nevertheless, and definitely stuff that they can improve on. Definitely plenty to learn from, just like many of the rest of these teams. But more aggressively, look at the way Trummy Black are entering in. Yes, they potentially know they've won, but they're going full send it straight into Galaxy Racer and Revenant.
Absolutely tough. Ooh. Tough pass into the zone there. I mean, that was just so hot. And of course, already now Join Me Black sitting on only 2 remaining players. That is the Kid and Onyx. So it is going to be interesting to see, of course, how they're going to be looking to play this position. Now, all right, here on the edge of zone with Galaxy Racer and, of course, the side there of a Revenant right alongside them, as you've, you know, rightfully mentioned. But now, looking onto the players here from TAMILAS, as they are rushing up onto that far side, actually rotating away from zone, looking to come in with a bit of a different rotation. Quite something out of the ordinary here.
I think I understand why they're going for that, but on the other hand, they're going straight into FaZe. They're going into all of this fighting unaware of what is about to hit them, and for TAMILAS, this could have hit them hard. AKUMA is well on power grid. I think that's what they're going for, is that power grid compound specifically, but it's already taken TAMILAS.
Oh, man, and of course now TAMILAS paying the price for that FaZe. And of course, the side there of AKUMA just very, very eager to welcome them back up in it towards the zone. As you can see, Evil now looking to quickly survive as that guy is starting to push on in, bringing the aggression. But now, of course, the hits are finding their way on through FaZe just a little bit further north. Right here alongside Evil, and of course Striker managing to still just try and push even further up, looking to secure that anchor point, and of course that potential position for the team to make it up in towards those later phases. But as we look at the blue, it could be a very uncomfortable end for the side of TAMILAS.
Indeed, there as well. BANGKRIRK, Nav once again finding deja vu. 4th game, just like second one, will have to be the solo player, venture out inside the desert on their own, but there's no shed to protect them. This is a much, much more open space. Here, final few series of zones we are going to have to prepare for. And yes, they find a nice open space in the middle, but you got to imagine it's going to be a difficult rotation in for the rest of those, all on the outskirts. Seal, they're finding the pressure down by FaZe on the roadside. They had to cross over. They didn't do it quick enough. FaZe clearly should be able to take Seal out.
Oh, I mean, Seal9, they're going to try and hold on as long as they can with their 2 remaining players as Amara now gets knocked. Oh, brutality coming in from FaZe. Wow, absolutely insane. But of course now looking onto the side here of BANGKRIRK, just position up in towards that smack dab center zone. That is a good position, but of course having a slight number disadvantage. As we now see, of course, 9 remaining teams all left to fight it out for that chicken dinner. And of course, the zone is looking absolutely insane. But now AKUMA going to look to try and capitalize on their position towards the edge of Power Grid. And of course, as we hop on to Join Me Black, they too are looking to capitalize on their position ahead of the players here from Revenant, who also now still need to find their passage to save the entry point in towards the zone.
It is that smoke road has already been established. But Join Me Black, they've got a hard entrance. Grenade straight into the face of them. But it's a 3v1 situation. Join Me Black, you gotta imagine Revenant, they win this fight out every single day. Yes, you've got the kid on the offside, but it's surrounding one player at a time. And Join Me Black, they don't look like they got anything left in the edge of this zone. Revenant, but what can they do now to move past the kid? What can they do to get back into the rest of this zone? Because all the meanwhile, it's FaZe who are setting up for the extra third party.
I mean, absolutely phenomenal shooting we saw just coming in there from Top Dog. But of course, now that zone is pushing on in, and Galaxy Racer just capitalizing on the teams being forced to rotate ahead of the blue zone. As we can see, of course, now the side here of the players from Revenant, they're having an absolutely tough time. But Galaxy Racer also taking quite a bit of a beating right here on the edge. I mean, now being reduced down to MJ, Oasis, just still to be raised on up. Of course, that is doable. They can pull through on that. But of course, now as these final 8 teams look to wrap things up in these next few zones, it is going to be absolutely insane. Even the Raptors, they've been able to position themselves up in towards the north here, but they also still need to try and squeeze on in.
Unfortunately, I feel a little bit sad, actually. The Raptors haven't been able to show this type of skill level out in the previous 10 games. They had 5 points out of kills in a 5th place position in the 11th match, and now potentially even looking for another top 5. They wipe out a second team. It's only a duo. It is a shame, as we say, to not have seen this sooner. This type of play, DK, could have actually secured the Raptors a place in that top 7 if they were only able to have it consistently across the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, but that was some absolutely phenomenal shooting coming in there right onto the side, of course, of Galaxy Racer. But now, FaZe still looking to dial up the aggression far past what we've already seen. As we now move in to our 6th phase blue zone closure, we have 5 teams remaining. Of course, DRS still looking to make a potential play all the way down in towards the far south, as they now too get reduced down to only 1. Raptors, of course, now taking quite a bit of a beating in the process, as Paridosh is looking to rush up into a secure position within that zone, but of course now looking to pop the tires there as well, just to have that extra layer of cover. But now AKUMA getting pushed on by the side here of Fate, and of course they managed to hold their own, sending Fate right back into the lobby. Of course, only getting a quick knock in the process. Not too much of a costly fight there for them. But now the final 3 teams are here. They are looking to get that beautiful, much sought after chicken dinner. That, of course, is the side of DRS. It is the side there of BANGKRIRK Esports, as well as AKUMA. AKUMA, though, coming in on 3 players strong in this final zone.
This definitely looks like it's AKUMA's game to take. The zone goes towards him. Yes, he got a knock player, but it goes straight back into a 3-man squad when you make that revive happen. DRS a solo, BANGKRIRK a solo. Okay, Guy going, though, nevertheless, for that push in. Narf as well on the off angle.
Oh, Narf now looking to push on up. Looking to find the play. Oh, yes, there we go. Closes it off for DRS. Oh, no. Narf is going up against the 3 remaining players of AKUMA. Absolutely tough challenge. Of course, now... Wait, we still have 5? Where's the 4th then? Like, is the number bugged? Because this shows 5, but we can see only 4. Either way, everything is riding on Narf. Narf now looking to set up this zone, looking to set up that entry point into that zone. Of course, now deploying the smoke road, sending out the utils, trying to blast his way up into that chicken dinner. It is going to be absolutely brutal, absolutely insane challenge. But of course, now here we go. The shots are finding their way on through as AKUMA are looking to pick up the chicken dinner. They have the numbers, they have the position. Will they have the shots? Not yet. Narf holding his own, stepping up, putting the shot in, but the nades, no! What?
Oh man, AKUMA, they find a shot on target, they put one down across the hill, and they find a flush of final BANGKRIRK member, but not 7 kills out of that game. A beautiful way to send BANGKRIRK through into the grand finals of the Thunder Cup, as well as AKUMA. There they do their best. Yes, they don't quite make it, you gotta imagine, but it definitely was still a massive result through from them. 13 kills in total with, of course, those 15 placement points and a chicken dinner. DRS, even as a 3-man squad there, and alongside also the Raptors, another 3-man squad, 3rd, 4th position, proving for DK you don't have to be a full squad to be able to obliterate the rest.
Yeah, absolutely insane stuff. I mean, I'm gonna say, like, my mind is slightly blown by just the level of aggression, the level of gameplay we've seen coming in on this final match to wrap up the preliminary round for Thunder Cup. Absolutely insane stuff. But of course, you got to give it to AKUMA. Absolutely phenomenal finish. Finishing in style. 13 kills. Beautiful chicken dinner. I mean, we also have the players here from BANGKRIRK. Enough 7-kill match. Insane. And then, of course, the side there of DRS finishing off with a really good performance. Good play. But we got to look at FaZe. They finish off their play on 14 kills. Absolutely mind-blowing kills coming in there. Insane. Beautiful match to watch. And absolutely phenomenal gameplay. I am so excited to see. I don't even know what to think what the grand finals are going to be looking like, just based on what we've seen over the past 2 weeks of gameplay coming in from Group A. Group B, absolutely insane stuff, and of course it would be something to watch. So of course that is going to bring us to the end of the broadcast here today. Big shout out to the teams for just bringing absolutely A-class performances across the board. Phenomenal stuff. Absolute blast to watch. Big shout out going to you, Wolf, as well, for the go-casting. We had such a blast here. And of course, we got to say a big thank you to the viewers for tuning in, showing the love, showing the support for the teams, and of course, helping us make this an absolutely amazing event. Of course, also thank you to the organizers. They're absolutely insane. Phenomenal stuff. But yes, that is going to bring us to the end here for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did, and we look forward to see you back again in the next one. Stay safe, stay good, and stay frosty.